Hello, hello. I see some mics are being connected. Perfect.
A sample event application with the list.
I am going to mute everyone upon entry just to be on the safe side. Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us. We really appreciate you and your time. We know you could be anywhere else, but you are focusing on your business today, and that is something that we will always applaud you for. As I was telling our special guests, that we always get an influx of people gearing up, and I'm happy that you all are one of those people. We are presenting today with UCLA, which we are so happy to have the Career Center here to help us. So today we are going to be talking about tips for building a successful internship program. Welcome again. I know we have a few people coming in, so we'll just continue going on, making sure that we have, everyone is able to get inside the room. I'm working with a few screens here, so bear with us. My name is Briajani Sander. For those of you who do not know, I am the marketing coordinator here at PCR. If you've ever seen a workshop, if you've seen any of our e-blasts, any correspondent with our special events, that typically comes from me and our team trying to put some things together. So as I was telling the team, we did about 55 workshops last month. So definitely, if not, get on that list. We love having you all and getting you the information that you need. So if you are unfamiliar with the SBDC, we are the Small Business Development Center hosted by Pacific Coast Regional Small Business Development Corp. And we just had a name change to PCR Business Finance. So we essentially finance you. We help you grow. We help you learn. We do one-on-one consultations, anything that you can think of. Some of our specialties are the legal, the business plan. We have a financial fitness series. I do see one of our advisors on as well, Miss Conceala. She hosts a very wonderful credit workshop as well. And we just had someone on Monday letting us know that her credit score had jumped 75 points just within the 3 months of working with Conceala. So if you are gearing up a restaurant, construction, anything that you can think of, our advisors are experts in their field, and we do our best to give you that good information. And just as a reminder, it is at no cost to you at this time because it's already paid for in your tax dollars. So we'll give you a little bit more of that information on the back end. So right now I am going to produce a poll. I know a few of you all have been to our workshops before and seen some of the things that we do. And I just want to know, like, where is everybody standing right now? Where is everybody when it comes to having any interns? Do you have interns in your business? Are you looking to have interns, or is it I never really thought about it before today. Perfect. I see the numbers flying in. Just a few more seconds. Awesome. Perfect. I'm going to end the poll now and share those results. Awesome. So one person does actually have an intern. I'm excited to hear more about that as we go on. 13% says, no, I do not. And 75% says, no, not yet. So you are in the right headspace. We talk about it a lot here. If you are looking to grow your business, you are going to need a team. And how to lead and how to hire is definitely going to be a core part of that. Awesome. So just to move a little bit forward, today we have Tim Marr and Haley Harrell, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about our speakers today. So Haley actually has been in university recruiting since 2019. Haley is passionate about her student readiness career and the value of making genuine connections in college and how to pursue that moving forward. Haley has one of her favorite quotes being from Eleanor Roosevelt: "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." As an industry relationships manager for business services, she strives to create meaningful connections between UCLA students and the employers of their dreams. Haley, where was you when I was in college? Because I needed some help in that area. Still to this day, I love marketing, but there's so many different avenues on how to take it. So thank you so much for your service in that. And then Tim Marr is an industry relationships manager with over 20 years of experience in university and career services. As an industry relationships manager, Tim specializes in working with students and public service industries employers to make meaningful connections with each other. He also serves as the program manager for the UCDC Summer in Washington program, supporting a cohort of Bruins each summer chosen to live in the UC Washington Center as an intern in Washington, D.C. Tim is a Bruin alum and with a bachelor's in arts in sociology. So please welcome our speakers, and without further ado, Tim and Haley.
Great, thank you so much. It's great to be here. I really appreciate y'all spending some time with us. Really excited to be here and talk about building an internship, successful internship program. So first, just want to introduce myself again. Again, my name is Tim Marr, one of the industry relations managers here at the UCLA Career Center. And I work specifically with our public service industry, so those employers in industries such as like government, nonprofit, education.
Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Haley Harrell. I'm Industry Relations Manager for Business Services at the UCLA Career Center. As was mentioned, I've been in the university recruiting space for a little while, about 5 years since graduating with a master's out of Azusa Pacific University. So if there's any Inland Empire folks out there, that's awesome. But yeah, I've been in university recruiting for about 5 years. I worked in the Cal States and I've been here at UCLA for about 6 months, and really, really happy to be here. And I think this is an awesome opportunity for us all to connect and talk a little bit about internships. So first, we want to hear a little bit about you. So if you are the type who likes to interact in the chat, you can go ahead and type out, tell us about your small business. Give us a little elevator pitch. What do you do? Why do you exist? And if you can get that into one sentence, that is kudos to you, everything that you do in one sentence. If you're the type that would rather unmute, or you can type this in the chat as well. If we're dropping everything and dreaming, dropping all your responsibilities, and you could take an internship anywhere in the world, where in the world would that internship be? So you can feel free to type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself or raise your hand now.
If anyone types it in the chat, I will read it off. Awesome. So you said, I don't just build brands, I help build dreams. I love that.
That's wonderful. So cool.
Yes.
Nice.
It says, hi, do you see Lynn's?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. I have a commercial residential cleaning service, Freshness Made Chic.
So cool. Tim, do you want to kick us off on the internship program or the internship question? If you could intern anywhere in the world, where would you intern?
Yeah. First of all, I wasn't quite ready to figure. I'm still figuring that out. But I want to tell a quick story that one of my friends actually dropped becoming a lawyer and ended up interning in the Amazon in Brazil because she wanted to work in like conservation. So she quit her career and did an internship there. I don't think I'd be quite as bold as her, but I think if I could do an internship anywhere in the world, I'd love to do an internship in Europe, just because I think I've never been there before. So if I get an opportunity to actually work and learn in a new country and a new environment, I think that would be really awesome. Yeah, what I'd be doing, I don't think it matters. I think I'd just be excited to be there. It'd be a great opportunity to learn something new.
Yeah, taking adventures, maybe taking in some good food along the way. That's great.
Definitely good food, yes.
And an internship in the Amazon, woo, that would be fun. Sounds maybe sweaty.
I think it was really sweaty. I think there are a lot of bug bites there, but yeah.
But fun. Really cool. We've got some more in the chat. Celeste has a Celeste Restaurant Success Center restaurant training firm. focuses on conducting and developing training programs for small and mid-sized food business. That is amazing. Welcome, Celeste. So glad you're here with us today. We have someone mentioning, we provide you the ability to shoot your friends and coworkers without going to jail. Paintball accessories and manufacturers that provide entry-level players the ability to play at a reasonable cost. Woo! You got me there
Wow.
at the beginning. Wow, that's amazing. Welcome. We're glad that you're here with us today. Great, cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for participating. It's we got one more. Multi-award winning vegan gender neutral skincare made in California. Wow, amazing. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. It is so cool to hear what you all do, and these small businesses that you're working with and putting so much time and effort and energy into. And we're really glad that you've taken the time to join us today and talk a little bit more about internships. So let's get right into it. So we're talking about building tips for building a successful internship program and how to set yourself up for success. Now, you're here in this workshop. You're probably aware of the many benefits that bringing an intern onto your team can provide for your small business. So this can be a great way to establish a skilled pipeline for people to continue to join your business. This can create an opportunity for you as the supervisor to hone your skills in mentorship, in training, or to continue to build on these skills to leave a legacy behind you along with your small business. And of course, interns offer that fresh perspective right out of college, some of the newest best practices that they're learning in school, they can bring into your business, and they can be a considerable source of manpower to help you complete those vital projects in your organization. But we are also aware that there are a key set of challenges for small business owners when it comes to building an internship program. First, running on some limited resources, whether that's money, time, people, to build an internship program from scratch can be really challenging. Additionally, competition with larger or longer established businesses can be a big challenge for small businesses. And then for our part as well, part of why we're here today, university policies and expectations can sometimes be unclear. It can be really hard to figure out at an organization or at an institution as large as UCLA, who do I even get started talking to? How can I access some resources and make that a little bit more clear for myself? So there's some clear challenges for small businesses that we hope to be able to help out with today. You may be asking yourself, okay, so where can I start? How do I start managing, kind of going over those hurdles? And we hope during our time together to provide some tips and give you a good place to kind of start. So during our time together, we hope to help you understand current standards for university internships, help you grab some tips to commit to the learning experience, both for you and for your intern. And then finally, how do you establish sustainable connections to UCLA talent as your business grows in the future? So that's what we hope to kind of cover today to help you get started along this sort of internship building process. Before we go too far, let's back it up. What makes an internship an internship? What differentiates an internship from, say, a part-time job or a full-time job? We're going to lay out a quick definition of what, by and large, universities are going to accept as internships that will go on their job boards. So first is duration. The main difference between an internship and a part-time job is there's going to be a clear start date and a clear end date. Most internships last around 3 months, and they can be full-time or part-time. This will probably depend on the time of year that you're taking your intern. So internships that happen during the summer, students typically aren't in classes. They have a little bit more free time to take on that 40-hour-a-week schedule, or closer to 40 hours a week. Whereas interns during the academic year from around October to around June, part-time may be a little bit more feasible for students. And part-time, a good amount of time typically for like university roles or like on-campus roles for students is 20 hours a week for that part-time expectation. Now that being said, if you take on an intern and say they're a senior and they get to the end of their spring internship and you decide, okay, I want to hire this person full time, that is fair game. Converting interns is very common, accepted practice. So if that's the case, I think you'll be happy. I think your intern will be happy as well. So feel free to move forward if that's right for your business. The second hallmark of an internship is that it will promote student growth. It highlights student growth. So what do we mean by this? Our sort of stick measure here at UCLA is that the student is considered the primary beneficiary of the relationship. So they're gaining that practical experience, the opportunity to explore in your small business, and they're considered, going beyond the intern who is grabbing coffee and making copies, right? It needs to be a beneficial experience for them. Thirdly, they will provide close mentorship and supervision by a skilled person in the field. We call this expert supervision. So really this, especially in a small business context, will really depend on your capacity. The amount of interns that you may be able to take on will depend on the capacity that you have to really focus on that intern and mentor them in a one-on-one way to make sure that they're really getting everything out of the internship that you hope to and that they hope to as well. Another tip to keep in mind, student interns should never outnumber your full-time staff. This is kind of in tandem with that expert supervision side. That's an expectation of interns, is that there's enough capacity for a full-time person to be one-on-one with this person. And if they're outnumbering student staff, that's hard to make a possibility. Okay, so now let's get into some types of internships. There are a couple of different types that you can select or that we kind of categorize on the university side. So first is unpaid internships. It is fair game. You can post unpaid internships. I will say that some of the tide is turning toward paid internships, but we do post unpaid internships at UCLA right now. It's important to bear in mind that if you are hosting an unpaid internship, the expectation for student growth and learning is just that much more escalated, that much more heightened. There's a higher expectation for the intern to really be the top priority in that relationship. And Tim in the chat can drop our internship toolkit. It's a really helpful resource. It's many pages. It goes pretty extensively into detail about just a lot of these sort of nuances with building an internship program. It's a really great resource, and we draw a lot of our information from this PowerPoint from the internship toolkit. So you can feel free to check that out. We talk a little bit more about unpaid internships and some of the expectations aligned with those on page 7 and 8. So just that a little bit extra context. We also just do want to highlight that if you're offering an internship and you require academic credit, that student is technically paying to work at your internship. And here's why. So in order for a student to gather academic credit from an internship experience, they have to be enrolled in an internship course. That's usually between 1 and 3 credits. And the undergraduate going rate per credit right now is about $300. So bearing that in mind, a student with an unpaid internship requiring academic credit, they can be paying from $300 to $900 in order to participate in that experience. And then on top of it, it's unpaid. So this is something that we just like to highlight, especially if you're taking a summer intern. During the year, a student may have an option to have their credits covered by financial aid. Many students are not enrolled in enough credits in order to qualify for financial aid throughout the summer. So if you're taking a summer intern requiring academic credit, they may be paying out of pocket for that experience. So this is something that, we're just so in the university space, we talk about a lot, but it's important for us to kind of share this out so that, the intern experience is come to light. So it is definitely legitimate to still post unpaid internships. There are just a few more considerations to take into advisement as you're building your internship program. All right, and then moving forward into paid internships. This is a little bit more straightforward. Paid internships can offer academic credit in addition to pay. This is a little bit less common. If this happens, you connect with an intern and they're seeking academic credit, they'll probably request it specifically. Depending on the program that your intern is studying, they may require an internship in order to graduate. And so that could be a case where they come to you and say, hey, can we do academic credit for this role? So you can do both. Paid internships generally can tend to be more competitive and more compelling to students as opposed to an unpaid internships, and they do tend to attract a more diverse applicant pool. I always like to think about the student who may be already working a part-time job in order to contribute to family expenses. It can be a really tough decision to leave that and not fulfill those responsibilities because you're taking an unpaid role. So it can attract overall a more diverse applicant pool. So you may be asking yourself now, okay, what's the going rate? How should I pay my interns if I choose to pay them? So hourly, the minimum wage, you can choose to pay your intern hourly. As of January 1st, this upcoming January 1st, the minimum wage will be $16 for all businesses in California. But Tim will also drop in the chat a resource that we found for you that includes county and city minimums. So just in case there's a little bit of nuance depending on your locality, you can check out that resource as well. You can also choose to take a little bit more of a salary approach when paying your interns. So some firms will prorate a full-time salary for just the 3 months that they'll be employing that intern and then pay that usually monthly. It could be bi-weekly. There's a lot of flexibility there. So that's another way you can consider to pay. And then considerations for your unpaid internships, you can also consider reimbursing your student just for tuition fees. That can be another way to sort of even the playing field and kind of make it a little bit more equal between your intern. So paid internships. Here we go. Okay. So another tip for setting your internship up for success. How are we going to ensure once you have your internship ready to post, how are you going to make sure that it gets approved to be on that university job board? And we have, again, our 3-part test that has to do with our definition of internships. The description should contain a clear start and end date for when you'd like to bring this on, clear expert evidence of clear expert supervision, so who will be overseeing them, and what some of their qualifications may be. And then third, that the student is the clear primary beneficiary of the internship. So that is what's gonna, at least posting here with us at UCLA, that's what's gonna get your internship onto the job board. Okay, and now federal labor law. This is a really important subject for a lot of small businesses, making sure that the government's not going to come after you, right? I don't know if they even do this for federal labor law, but just making sure that we have all of our considerations considered. Very first to consider here, the employer, you as the employer, you don't need to offer academic credit to your unpaid interns. I think this is a really common misconception that, okay, if I'm not paying them, I need to offer them some other compensation in the form of academic credit. That's not the case. You can also review fact sheet number 71 from the Department of Labor. If you're someone like me who likes to have all of my bases covered and make sure I really understand everything front to back when I have skin in the game, Tim will drop that fact sheet in the chat. It's really wordy, it's a legal document, but the main takeaway that we want to highlight from that is you don't need to offer that academic credit for an unpaid internship in order to be compliant with federal labor law. In order to be compliant with federal labor law, all you need to do is to fulfill that definition of an internship. That is equivalent with compliance with federal labor law. So we're going back to our 3-part test that defined start and end date, clear expert supervision, and student being the primary beneficiary. That's how you're going to maintain that compliance with federal labor law. You know, that's important and amorphous and sometimes unclear. So we definitely wanted to highlight that for you. And now I'll pass it over to Tim for how to recruit, interview, and hire your interns.
Great, thank you, Haley. So we've talked about what an internship is and the different types of internships that can be offered. So the next step now would be talking about just how to recruit an intern, how to recruit students, the interviewing process, and going through and actually hiring your interns, and especially, and we're going to kind of focus this conversation a little bit towards UCLA, since we are from the UCLA Career Center, but a lot of this can also apply to other universities should you choose, as you cast a wide net for your applicants. So first, the thing I want to talk about is Handshake. So what is it? Yes, it is something that we do when we greet each other, but also Handshake is a platform that many universities, roughly about 1,400 across the nation and across North America, use. Is specifically career centers use to kind of manage their job and internship boards. So like many career service offices and universities will have job boards, usually online. So Handshake is a platform that career centers like UCLA use to kind of manage all of that. So we ask the employers that are looking to recruit UCLA students to go ahead and post opportunities. And so, Handshake, what it does, it is essentially a platform for you to be able to connect with UCLA talent. And of course, like I said, talent at other universities, should you choose to go that way. It's a great way for you to be able to engage and then also, of course, build your workforce, whether that becomes it's an intern or full-time or part-time employee. But again, here we're going to talk mostly about internships here. And then in addition to not only just being able to, advertise your opportunities, it is also a great, it's a platform that you'd use to, perhaps, if you want to further engage and further recruit, talent, either UCLA, whether it's through career fairs or on-campus recruiting, which is I'll talk a little bit about in a moment. So okay, we have this platform here in Handshake, and so how do you like I mentioned, it's gonna, there's over 1,400 schools that use it. We have thousands of employers that are posting just at UCLA. So how do you stand out and be successful? It really helps when you post your opportunities with clear descriptions of roles and responsibilities, being able to put exactly what you're expecting of your intern, the roles that they'd be responsible for, the responsibilities that they would have to do. Also, you'd also make sure that you're clearly defining any skills that you would need, that the intern would need as well. And again, I think, kind of going back to our 3-point, 3-point test, it's always important to include the fact that, the intern would receive expert supervision, that they would have, certain expected learning outcomes, and that their main beneficiary of this opportunity would be the student. And of course, not, I didn't mention here, but of course, including a defined start and end date is really helpful for students who are often, managing busy class schedules, other, commitments outside of academics, whether it's, groups, clubs, whatever it might be. So being able to define exactly when you want this student to start and end is extremely helpful. Another key point that you can do is, if you are especially recruiting in advance, if you can indicate when you want that intern to start in your job title. So for example, if you have, let's say, you want an intern for the summer and you're going to start this recruiting process in February, indicating in your job title that you want a summer intern. That way it helps students be able to kind of quickly identify, all right, this, those students that are looking for summer opportunities know right away that this, your posting, it kind of speaks to them and is going to be more attractive to those students. And so that they're not necessarily searching through, a whole bunch of listings trying to determine exactly when. So if you do know when you want that intern, and especially if you are kind of recruiting ahead of time, being able to do that and putting it in the job title itself is super helpful, and will attract more candidates. And of course, as you continue this recruiting, and once you've kind of identified some candidates, you have the opportunity to recruit here at UCLA and actually come on campus to conduct interviews. Here at the Career Center, we offer free rooms for our employers to be able to use for interviews. We have 17 rooms available. All you have to do is just put in that request. Requests are available through Handshake. So, setting up a Handshake account, which I should mention is completely free for any employer. There's no charge to set it up. And by setting up an account, it also not only just allows you to be able to recruit at one university, but like I mentioned before, you'll be able to actually recruit at multiple universities just with your one account. You don't need to set up individual accounts at each school. So it's a little bit about recruiting and hiring and using university platform like Handshake to go ahead and recruit your students. Turn back to Haley.
All right, thank you, Tim. Those are great tips to really some good insights to really stand out on Handshake. That's super helpful, really for students as they're searching for your opportunities as well. Okay, so we're going to move into our next portion about establishing a pipeline. So you may be asking yourself, how do I establish a lasting connection to UCLA talent? And really one of the best ways to approach this is by building positive buzz about your internship. Word of mouth at UCLA really does matter. So we're going to review some strategies that can help you build positive buzz about your opportunity and really get students talking about how your internship is better than the rest. So first, it's important to evaluate the unique experiences that you bring to the table as a small business owner. It's funny, when we talk to students about building their resume or their cover letter, we say it's important to do a self-inventory of all of your skills and your abilities and what you bring to the table as a candidate. This is a very similar thing. It's important for you to take an inventory of your business and what you can offer to an intern, the type of learning that you can offer to them. So here's what some of those may look like. You may serve a really specific population or do something really cool. Like we were mentioning, maybe you're an airsoft related small business, or maybe you have a really core tenet of producing clean vegan skincare. That is really cool and really important to Gen Z right now. So definitely highlight that in your advertisements. You may offer an opportunity to work in a growing business. That's such a unique opportunity that a student isn't going to get at a larger firm. They're not going to see a Big Four firm start from a small business, and they do get that opportunity with your small business. And then lastly, this is a huge one: direct supervision from high-level people in your organization or even the CEO. So students, they love big names at UCLA. They could take an internship at Deloitte, but at no time will they be probably even meeting the CEO. And your intern may be right underneath, supervised by the CEO. And that's a huge opportunity. Proximity to executive leadership is a huge set of skills to build for students. So that's a huge uniqueness. Don't forget that, Another approach you can take to build a unique opportunity is to create impactful opportunities for students to learn. And so some of these can look like rotational experiences or experiences for students to learn about various aspects about the job or about the business. So say you want to hire a social media intern, and they may be interested in more than just social media. They may want to get into marketing or writing. If you connect with your intern and learn those things, offer them opportunities to experience little things just outside even their job role, that's a huge opportunity for them to learn a multitude of different things within one internship. And that's often a free way to go about that, a no-cost way. Opportunities to reflect are another way you can drive student learning. So reflecting on work projects that they've been involved in, or either verbally or in writing. So offering your internship an assignment. Okay, you've completed this project, now review kind of how you approached it, how you would have approached it differently in the future. Offering them that opportunity to reflect is a powerful driver for student growth. And I wanted to just provide a quick example of an internship that I took that was so impactful to my life, and that really kind of encompasses a lot of what we're talking about today. So a great internship can make a real impact. This is an internship that I took in Washington, D.C. This is my supervisor, Harry, and he ended up being like a very impactful person in my professional journey, even beyond my internship, because of the way that he built his internship program. So I wanted to highlight a few things that he did that may be worth considering as you're building your internship program as well. So first, he asked me about my interests and my areas of interest really openly and really directly right at the beginning of the internship. So what this looked like is he offered me the internship, I accepted, and there was a little bit of time before I started the internship. And he just emailed me a list of everything that he had expert knowledge in, areas that he had contact with, or areas that he was connected with people that he could put me in contact with that address that area. He gave me a whole list of everything that he could do, and he said, pick your top 5 for your internship time. And I will work to get you connected to people who are working in those areas. I can pull you in on projects that are related to what you're interested in. And he built the internship from there. What was really great about that, he knew that he was building an internship program that would be valuable for me going forward. I felt like I had the voice and the power to speak about and have my interests really be known by someone else, and to be connected in that way was a really great and no cost way to go about building that internship. He also challenged me. He challenged me to book as many informational interviews within the company as possible. Now, this can look different for different organizations. You may be challenging your intern to meet with everybody at your organization, or maybe meet with some of your clients, or meet with people that you're connected with through professional organizations to get out there, kind of expand their interest. And I learned so much throughout this process, and I had control to kind of go and tap who I was interested in speaking with. I learned so much just through that informational interview process. And then lastly, regular one-on-ones were really huge in this internship. We had weekly one-on-ones. That's pretty frequent, but we would just go over like meetings that had happened in the past week or projects that it completed in the last week. And I just had time to kind of verbally process what I was thinking in those meetings, what I was gathering, what I was learning just by being there. And then it offered him the opportunity to provide a little bit more institutional context. I'd say, that person seemed a little bit off-put in the meeting, and I didn't really know what that was about. And he could say, maybe this is an issue that's been raised in the past and they feel ignored. It was a huge way to kind of get an insight into all of his institutional knowledge and professional experience just by talking. So really, I bring all of this up to say there wasn't a big fancy like wine and dine situation. It wasn't a really like tricked out internship. It was really just the way that he tailored the experience for me. A personalized approach really made a difference. And he's been an impactful person in my life way beyond that internship. So just wanted to highlight that kind of story and, the effects that putting effort into an internship can really have on your interns and the next generation of the workforce and possibly your next full-time hire. So yeah. Another way that you can build a pipeline, get that buzz building, considering a consistent feedback structure with your intern. As we were mentioning earlier, feedback is a really powerful, essential way that you can drive your intern's growth. And it's important to remember that as you take on an intern, they're learning the roles and what you would like them to do as an intern, but they're also learning the whole world of work and everything that comes along with it. They might be learning how to work Outlook. They might be learning how to communicate with colleagues, right? So it's important to just kind of keep that in mind. Feedback and opportunities to reflect are really powerful ways for students to learn. And so kind of setting that up, we're going to kind of go into a timeline of what that might look like. And it's going to look like an evaluation process. I don't know if you remember. Does anybody else remember the first time they were ever evaluated in like a job setting? I remember the first time I got evaluated and I was just so scared. You get messages from TV, from meetings about like what your relationship with your boss is going to look like what an evaluation even is, and it can be really scary. So just bear in mind, this could be your intern's first evaluation process. So take time to explain the process step by step. Make sure it's clear, emphasize the point of evaluations is really just for you two to be on the same page and for you to highlight their successes, and then also highlight some areas to grow. Because that's really the point of taking an internship in college, is learning about yourself and growing. And then second, it's also important just to cut some of the tension or cut some of the apprehension that your intern may have going into evaluations. It's important to take these meetings face to face, if at all possible, just to friendly the interaction up, to say, hey, I'm a person here sitting in front of you and we're just working through this together. No need to be afraid. So here's what this timeline may look like for a feedback structure. So we have a timeline here. Your internship starts over here, and then the internship ends over here. And there's just a few key touch points that can kind of kick off your feedback structure process. So first, before the internship starts, you as the supervisor can just pick 2 or 3 things that you want your intern to be competent in. We call these competencies. So competencies can look like professionalism, punctuality, communication. They can look like, you could have a technically based competency about, like, I want you to be able to do this sort of processing. If you come up dry on what you might be thinking about for competencies, if you want a little bit of brainstorm fuel, Tim can drop in the chat the NACE competencies. We call these career readiness competencies. It comes from the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And so that's a professional organization that has come together and kind of come up with these competencies that both employers and students are kind of seeking. So that's just a good list of competencies. I think, Tim, we have a list of all of the NACE competencies we can put in the chat just to kind of get the brainstorming flowing. But you'll establish those 3 to 4 competencies that you will evaluate your intern on throughout the internship. So those competencies won't change. And then second, so hopefully right after the internship starts, schedule a regular one-on-one with your intern. So we recommend at least every couple of weeks. If you could do every week, that's great, but we know that's not really reasonable in every situation. But regular one-on-ones are just great talking points, helping your intern process everything that they're going through. So here's some things you can talk about during those one-on-ones. You can review important meetings or milestones since your last one-on-one. You can talk with the intern about how this internship is relating with where they want to go in the future. You can talk about how the world of work is different or similar to what you thought it would be. And then always in one-on-ones are a great opportunity for you to share your professional experience and your lessons learned along the way. This is always an opportunity for you to pour into your intern in that way and share your really valuable knowledge. At the midpoint, it's a good idea to have a mid internship evaluation. So this would be about a month and a half into your intern's time. So we recommend self-evaluations. We love self-evaluations for students to take a look at the competencies that they know they should be working towards in their internship and evaluate where they think they are right then. And then have the opportunity to hear exactly what their supervisor is thinking in terms of their growth toward those competencies as well. That compare and contrast can be a really powerful point of learning for students. So an intern self-evaluation followed by a supervisor evaluation, and then chatting through kind of where you as a supervisor are coming from in that evaluation. And then from there, just make a plan to continue pursuing those goals, right? The nice thing about an internship is that if there are major issues in an evaluation, you can talk about them, but it's a short-term contract, right? There's not a ton of need to really dig in and put in place like a performance improvement plan or anything. That's the nice part about these type of evaluations. And then, of course, an end of internship evaluation. This one where the mid-internship evaluation might be looking forward to how we can improve. This is a great opportunity for you to reflect on the internship with your intern. So the self-evaluation and supervisor evaluation on the competencies is always good to check in on. You can take this opportunity to highlight the intern's overall growth. Something to the effect of like, oh, I remember when you first joined, you were really unfamiliar with this, and now look where you are. All of the learning that you've done and how much you've grown. Great opportunity to highlight that for your intern. And this is also a great opportunity for a review of the internship as a whole. Connect with your intern and say, okay, what was great about this internship? What would you add into this internship? What would you take away? And then that's an opportunity for you as a supervisor to continue to improve your internship program as you go forward. So this process of giving and receiving feedback is not always like the most comfortable thing, or not always something that we like elect to do, or you know, a lot of people maybe would elect not to if they could. But this is a really powerful way for you to make that connection with your intern, pour into them one-on-one. And that's going to build buzz. As soon as, you know, one intern has a really positive experience with you, they're going to be telling their friends about it. And that's how you can really build buzz about your internship program on a campus. Okay, our last consideration for building a pipeline is taking some considerations for special populations. And here's what some of that can look like. Tim was mentioning our on-campus interviewing service. This is really cool. It's convenient for students. They may be able to schedule an interview like after a class when they're already on campus or before a class. And it can also decrease some transportation barriers for some students as well. Recruiting outside of peak timelines can be really good for special populations. It can also be really beneficial for you as a small business as well. So we have definite some peak recruiting times throughout the year, depending on your industry, where a lot of the big four, like huge firms, are recruiting. And unfortunately, for someone like a transfer student who transfers in say January, that can happen so fast that they're not even on campus before it happens. So that will increase your transfer recruiting and increases accessibility for first generation college students and professionals who may just not have known that those recruiting timelines were happening so fast. And then again, overall more diversity, and you'll be able to catch some of those students who, you know, may have been in a position where they didn't know what they didn't know, or maybe they just didn't get an offer this time around. And making these sort of considerations is really a way that you can establish trust and come through for the UCLA community. I imagine, you know, the student who may have not gotten an offer that recruiting season, or maybe just didn't know it was a thing. It can be really easy as a student in that situation to feel like your whole career is coming crashing down. I don't have an internship now. I'm never going to get the job that I want. And then if you come through with a wonderful opportunity that they can still take and advance toward their goals, that's a huge way you can come through for that student. So recruiting outside of peak timelines can be a really major thing for both students and small businesses. So those are sort of our connections and recommendations there. And I'll pass it over to Tim to talk about connecting more with our team.
Yeah, thanks, Haley, and thank you so much for talking so much about ways to establish a pipeline. And we're here, here at the Career Center. We're always looking for opportunities to connect with our community and connect with employers and those interested in recruiting our students. So you can see here, that's our team. You can see we have a small but mighty team here to assist any employers, whether large, small, or anyone in between, with their recruiting needs and helping them connect with the best UCLA talent possible. So you can see we have, in addition to Haley and myself, we have two other industry relations managers, Lily Elias and Stella Petrosian, and we all focus on particular industries. So to try to be a little bit more knowledgeable and experts in these fields. So depending on where you are and where your industry falls. You connect with one of us. If you're not really sure, you can connect with a couple of us. That's fine. We're always happy to discuss, and we know sometimes things don't always fall in neat little categories. So anytime you always connect with our team. We have a link here where you can fill out and just fill out some just general information about your organization, who you are, and what you're looking for. It kind of helps us, understand, what your needs are, and then you can go ahead and set up we're always happy to talk and set up a one-on-one session. You can meet with any of us, set up a consultation, talk about your recruiting needs, and how you can further, attract UCLA talent. So, with that, this pretty much takes us towards the end of our presentation. So I thank you so much, everyone, for attending, for listening to us. Really appreciate your time today, and want to open it up now to any questions anybody has. So feel free to unmute yourself, ask any questions, or if you'd like to go ahead and drop them in the chat, that works for us as well.
Awesome. Everyone, please definitely type it in the chat if you have any questions, or you're able to unmute your mic as well. I'm going to leave this slide up just for a second so that way you can get down the names if necessary. And then I will also be sending out the recording for this within 24 hours and attached with the links that Tim dropped into the chat today as well. So you'll have all that information at your fingertips in just another day or so. So I want to make sure that you all will have that information. Thank you, Celeste, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. We do have a quick prize. So let me actually go to our next slide. One thing I do want to be sure of too, so Tim or Haley, what we usually do is ask a question into the chat, and the first person who drops it in correctly, the answer to your question, wins the prize. So the next thing that we have coming up is actually our workshops. Let me actually go back and make sure I have everything here. Here we are. So our special prize is The Ideal Team Player. This is a book about how to lead. I know Haley and Tim gave some really great tips on like how to make your internship impactful, especially if it's not going to be something of monetary value, but also showing you how to be a great leader. So this is one of the books that we will be giving away. So is there a question, Tim or Haley, that you may want to ask? And I can see who's the first person in the chat to get it correct from something you shared today.
I have one. Maybe, does anybody remember the name of our job platform at UCLA?
Go ahead and type into the chat, everyone.
Hey, there it is.
Handshake. Awesome. Perfect. I'm glad you all were paying attention. Definitely helpful information. I'm actually send you a personal note to send me your shipping address to this email. Perfect. Awesome. So thank you so much for that, everyone. Let's see next. So just a few of our other upcoming information. We do have a lot of those financial fitness workshops, as I mentioned earlier. Definitely, we have gone through a few of these now, and what is left will be ratios. We have profit projections, income statements, how to be loan ready, and then as well, we also have a workshop this weekend, actually on the 16th, also smart credit strategies for small businesses. So please give us an opportunity to help you in the areas that you need so that you can make it feasible for your clients. And check out our website because we do have so many other great workshops that we handle. Just so you know, you will be getting a survey at the end of this workshop, maybe within the next hour or so. So definitely let us know how we did. Give us any feedback, more information that you may want to hear from UCLA, some other topics. Definitely just give us all the feedback that you need so we know how to improve and how to better service you. Also rate us on Google. It lets other people know about us. We have been around for over 45 years, and it's still a lot of businesses who can utilize our services, and we would like to help them as well. And of course, follow us on all social media at PCR SBDC LA. Also, as I mentioned before, we are a small CDFI, so that means we do offer small business lending. And most of our clients only put up 10%, and we kind of fund the rest of it for you all. So we have various grant programs that also allow us to help service you no matter what your industry is. And we have a few requirements there. So speak to an advisor, definitely get in contact. I will drop our information at the bottom as well. So you see here, you can apply at pcrcorp.org or reach out to us via email for lending services. So with what you learned today, what is the first thing you're going to do in your business? You can drop that into the chat. Anybody? Let's see here. I know the first thing I'm going to do is look at Handshake because we need interns. Anybody, anything? What are you going to do with the information? Sign up for Handshake and schedule a one-on-one. Awesome, awesome. Definitely. I want to go back to that first question that you asked to Haley. If I could pick an internship anywhere in the world, it would be South Africa. And I would want to do marketing in the cosmetic industry. My cousins are all dermatologists, so I always have been fascinated with it. Not enough to do the work though. The science behind it is too much for me, but I could put some makeup on, okay? Not now, but you know, there's something that I enjoy. So thank you all so much. Just as more information, that is our number at the bottom. There is our website and also our email. Please, please, please contact us if you have any questions. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much to Tim and Haley. It was wonderful having you, and we will definitely be working again in 2024 and beyond. So you got 1 minute back of your time, or did it just hit 1 o'clock? So thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. And if we don't see you before then, a very, very, very happy holidays. Awesome. Bye, everyone.